He showed up at her front door on a Tuesday afternoon like he owned the place. No collar, no tag, just a black and white tuxedo cat sitting on the welcome mat, staring up at her like he'd been waiting for an appointment she forgot to schedule. His white paws were perfectly clean. His face had that particular look older cats get. Not mean, not soft, just settled, like he'd already decided how this was going to go. Margaret didn't plan on getting a cat. She was 67, recently retired, and her daughter called every Sunday to ask if she was doing okay. She always said yes. She mostly meant it. The house had 4 bedrooms and 1 occupant, and a calendar with very few things written on it. The cat didn't move. She stepped over him to get the mail. He followed her back inside. She put him back out. He sat down and stared at the door. She opened it again. He walked straight to the kitchen like he had the floor plan memorized. Margaret called the shelter that afternoon. "I think someone's cat found me," she said. The woman on the other end paused. "Can you describe him?" Black and white, older face, 1 chipped tooth, white paws, walks like he's done this 100 times before and he'll do it 100 times more. Another pause, longer this time. "Ma'am, that sounds like it might be Chester. He's been returned twice. His last owner moved to assisted living and couldn't take him. Before that, a family said he was, and I'm quoting here, too much personality. He's 11 years old." 11. Margaret looked at Chester sitting in the middle of her kitchen floor. Chester looked at Margaret like he was waiting for her to catch up. "Nobody else wants him?" she asked. "We've had him listed for 7 months. He's a great cat. He's just a lot." She didn't say anything for a long time. Chester flicked his tail once, patient, unhurried. "Okay," she finally said. "I'll bring him in tomorrow." She didn't bring him in tomorrow. Chester made himself at home with the kind of confidence that only comes from a cat who has survived enough to stop pretending. He claimed the armchair by the window on day 1, not the cat bed she ordered online that arrived 2 days later, not the folded blanket she put in the sunny corner of the living room. The armchair, her armchair, the one she'd had for 12 years and where she read every evening before bed. He was in it when she came downstairs the first morning. He looked at her, she looked at him, she made her coffee standing up. He knocked her reading glasses off the side table 3 times in the first week, not by accident, deliberately with 1 white paw, maintaining full eye contact throughout, a demonstration, a reminder of who had seniority here. He didn't cuddle, he didn't purr on command, he showed affection entirely on his own schedule and nobody else's. He'd jump up beside her on the couch, sit just close enough that their sides were touching, and stare at the wall like he was doing her a favor by being in the same room. And somehow that was enough, maybe more than enough. Margaret told her daughter about him on Sunday. "He sounds like an absolute nightmare," her daughter said. "He is," Margaret said, and she was smiling when she said it, which her daughter noticed and didn't say anything about, but filed away. If you're still watching but haven't subscribed yet, I'm not gonna lie, that stings a little. Hit subscribe. Trust me, you want to see where this goes. Here's what nobody tells you about older cats. They don't need to be entertained. They don't need you to be in a good mood or perform some version of yourself that's easier to be around. They've already seen enough of the world to know what matters and what doesn't, and they have absolutely no interest in pretending otherwise. Chester didn't ask Margaret to be cheerful. He didn't need her to be on. He just showed up. Every single morning at 7 a.m., he'd jump onto the kitchen counter, yes, the counter, a boundary she enforced for exactly 4 days before surrendering completely, and watch her make coffee. Not waiting for food, not asking for anything, just there, present. A warm, breathing, mildly judgmental presence that made the kitchen feel occupied instead of empty. She started talking to him. Not baby talk, real conversation, about her late husband, Gerald, and how he used to burn the toast every Sunday without fail and somehow make it taste fine anyway. About the way the house felt different after the kids moved out, like a stage after the play ends. About how retirement was supposed to feel like freedom, but mostly just felt like a lot of quiet she hadn't asked for. Chester would blink slowly and gaze out the window. She chose to believe he was listening. Maybe he was. Then came the Thursday in March. Margaret had been having headaches for about 2 weeks, ignoring them the way people do when they're a little afraid of the answer. That morning, she woke up dizzy, sat on the edge of the bed, and realized she couldn't quite feel her left hand. She sat there. The room was still. She told herself it was nothing. She told herself she just needed water, needed breakfast, needed a minute. Chester jumped up beside her. He didn't circle, didn't meow. He pressed the full length of his body against her side, all of his weight, warm and solid, and stayed there without moving. She reached for her phone, called her daughter. "I think I need to go to the hospital." The doctor said it was a minor stroke, caught early, manageable. "You were lucky you called when you did," her doctor said quietly. "Another hour and we'd be having a very different conversation." Margaret still doesn't know exactly what made her reach for that phone. She'd been sitting on the edge of the bed, convincing herself it was nothing. She'd been about to stand up and walk it off. But Chester had pressed into her like a wall she didn't know she needed, like something that said, "Not yet. Stay. Call." She told me this story herself, and that part matters more than anything else in this video. These stories don't get told enough. If this one landed for you, you already know what to do. Chester is 12 now. He still owns the armchair. He still occasionally relocates her glasses, though less frequently, as if he's decided she's finally reached an acceptable level of training. He sleeps on her feet every night, not beside her, on her feet, and she plans her entire sleeping position around him, without complaint. 7 months on a shelter list, returned twice, 11 years old. Too much personality, they said. Turns out, that was exactly the right amount. Chester found her door on a Tuesday afternoon, and she almost sent him away. So here's what I want to know. If an older cat showed up at your front door today, no collar, no tag, just sitting there like he'd already made the decision, would you let him in? Tell me in the comments, because honestly, I think the answer says more about you than you might expect.